Now, I've not actually gone live on YouTube. We're 4 minutes in, I've not actually gone live on YouTube. Hello YouTube. I do apologise for being late. I did not press the button when I should. We are now live on YouTube. I will reiterate basically what I've been saying on Twitch. I do apologise for being slightly late there. If you're watching on Twitch, that may have been a little bit of a comical moment. My name is Tom Colohue. Today I'm going to be sharing news about WrestleMania, Vince McMahon, Pat McAfee, Austin Theory. I did a whole intro. It's a bit fallen apart, but we are where we are. As we continue to build towards monetized by Mania, as we continue to build towards that moment when we can say we've made it, as we chase those last 18 subscribers. So I want to jump into the news as it's come. Bear with me if you're watching on Twitch. I do apologise. So the big news that has hit the heights is the return to action, apparently, of Vince McMahon. This was first reported by Brad Shepard, who is well known for getting things wrong, but as I did say a couple of days ago when this was first brought to my attention, here by one of yourselves, every now and then he does get something right. And in this one, he seems to have done so, because suddenly it was appearing on Wrestling Observer, suddenly it was appearing all over the place. Suddenly it was appearing all over the place. Now the news that I've been given is that yes, the intention is that the Pat McAfee appearance of Vince McMahon is to build to a match at WrestleMania. However, I've been unable to confirm one way or the other whether Vince McMahon will be returning to wrestling. At this point in time, I'm going to be honest, I don't think he'll be able to convince people backstage that he is able to perform at the level that they require for a WrestleMania. It's a big ask on someone like Vince McMahon, who is a much older man compared to someone such as, for example, Pat McAfee. With this in mind, it's also very possible, even likely, that what we're actually going to end up with is not Vince versus Pat, but actually Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. I genuinely think that is highly likely to happen at this point. It just makes more sense to me, at the very least, that that match is what we end up with. Particularly when you consider that it was originally going to be Shane McMahon versus Austin Theory at WrestleMania. Apparently, this first I've heard of it recently, but apparently there may or may not be a rule in place that there has to be a McMahon on every WrestleMania card. New rule, but we are where we are with that one. Hence all the Shane. Like all the Shane. So much Shane. I do also want to provide a bit of an update as to Sasha Banks. So a little bit more information as regards Sasha reaching the point where she is. Many of you will be very familiar with my reports already, but I did report that Sasha Banks would be entering the tag division. The favourite for creative was to have Sasha team up with Bayley to go after the tag team championships. However, Bayley has not been cleared in time. With Bayley not being cleared in time, Sasha Banks apparently had a big say in who was eventually chosen to be her tag partner. That person did eventually become Naomi. We have a BAD team reunion. Sorry, Team BAD, not BAD team. That's the wrong way around. With that reunion, I'd say it's highly likely that Sasha Banks gets her first WrestleMania win and gets the tag team championship back, which should result in a pretty strong shot in the arm for the division. It also means that Sasha Banks and Naomi will then be able to appear on both Raw and SmackDown, meaning that the WWE will be able to use Sasha's star power on both channels. Much like wanting Roman Reigns on both sides, a lot of people in the WWE really want to use as much Sasha Banks as possible as well. Now, this was a fairly late decision. As I also did report, they were planning a match for Sasha Banks, but they weren't sure what it was going to be. They essentially finalised their decision in the last few days. Also, to be fair, they didn't know for certain that Sasha Banks was going to be featuring on this week's SmackDown. She could possibly have taken another week out based on her schedule. So they did not want to announce anything too far ahead of time or give her too much, essentially, to work with at this point. So, to be clear, WrestleMania has added more matches to it. We are going to have Sasha Banks and Naomi versus at least Carmella and Zelina Vega, but there is every possibility that in addition to that, we see more tag teams added to it. I've mentioned the Bella Twins beforehand, whether or not they make themselves available, that is the wording I was given, whether they make themselves available, but also has been mentioned, of course, Trish Stratus and Lita. The WWE are very keen to use that star power if and when they can, and it is very much up to the women involved there to make themselves available to the company. We will be sharing more news here as we answer your questions. If there is something in particular you'd like to know, by all means ask away. And if you'd like to lurk and just, find out the news before it hits the paywalls, by all means let me know. I did on Twitter a moment ago, well, about 20 minutes ago now, point out that if you are regular here, you'll be fully aware of the Elias news that has once again hit the headlines in the last couple of hours. Yes, there's no plans right now for Elias. Been saying it for a while now. So please do remember to hit like as we continue to pursue monetization. Monetization, of course, happens with 1,000 subscribers. I already have the necessary watch time and everything else. I'm in fact nearly 10% over on watch time at this point. Your boy's over. But I'm just looking for those final 18 subscribers. Once we get those, we will be able to monetize. YouTube will advertise a lot further and we will grow a lot faster. That is simple fact based on the information about YouTube that I've been researching for a very long time. Let's catch up with people in the chat. Firstly, WrestlerFan says hello. Hello, WrestlerFan. David Leary says hi. Welcome, David. Simon says, Tom, congrats on your lot winning the Carabao Cup. Our trophy is finally gone. Not your trophy, mate. We've actually won it a lot more than you have. WrestlerFan also says, how are you today? I'm doing very well, thank you. Had a lovely relaxed day. Went out for a few drinks yesterday. Had a sausage festival. Ate some sausage. I got full of sausage. It was great. Matthew Ham also saying hi. And WWE Women's Division saying 18 to go. 18 indeed. Not too far at this point. Michael Latina's in the chat saying, Mr. Colohue, how's it going? It's going very well, thank you. Sean also says, hello, Tom. Michael is asking, are they really this bad at building new stars? Yes and no. You can look at people who've recently entered the main roster. Matt Riddle, Damian Priest, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan I feel has had a pretty solid push recently, and there's a number of others. I look at what's going on SmackDown right now, and even though it's not the most entertaining show, people like Ricochet have been regularly featured, Ridge Holland regularly featured. I look over at Otis right now. He's getting a fairly strong push with Chad Gable. They are creating new stars. The problem is that there is a ceiling for those new stars, and that ceiling is WrestleMania. As soon as it comes around to WrestleMania season, only the big names get the push. Outside of that, B Team, go, go, go. The B Team were great, but they were never going to have the championships long because they were approaching an actual profitable season. That section between WrestleMania and SummerSlam, that's when the WWE decide to build new stars, when in reality what they should be doing is getting the new stars that they have and giving them WrestleMania wins. If you brought in Cody Rhodes, for example, had him go up against Damian Priest at WrestleMania and lose, you've made a new star. Cody can survive that very easily. You've made a new star. Sean says, are Sasha and Naomi going to team up at Mania? Yes, they are, and they will be competing for the Tag Team Championships. And Michael says this has actually been great for Naomi. It really has. It's been a really strong opportunity for Naomi to get in front of those cameras and just be pushed strong. Genuinely pushed like she's a big deal. They should be taking this a lot more seriously. Ed says, hashtag monetized by Mania. Indeed. I checked my my social blade recently and it said 9 days. 9 days. That's pretty good. I'll take that. I'll happily take that. Thank you to Omega, who has renewed his subscription renewed their subscription. I don't actually know beyond that. For a 7th month in a row. Thank you very kindly. The one who always comes in and shouts my name. Thank you very kindly for your continued support. Sean says, Sonya and Ronda faced each other at a live event in Youngstown. Saw a video where Sonya banned Ronda from using the armbar or any kind of armbar. Do you see Sonya doing this on SmackDown? Possibly, yes. I mean, it's very typical of Sonya Deville, and it would be a fun addition to the match. Thank you very much, Ethan, for renewing your subscription as well. Also, for 7 months, thank you, Ethan, for being here and for supporting as ever. Yeah, it's Sonya seems to be playing that card at the moment where she bans Ronda from doing this or that, as it were. And there's logic to it. It's about bringing Ronda Rousey down to your level so that she can sell without it looking embarrassing for Ronda herself, so that she can keep that distance from you. I'm hoping we just get a good match on SmackDown, but let's be honest, we're not going to. Jay Quick says, please Vince, we don't need to see you wrestle. I heartily agree. Theory and McAfee for me makes a lot more sense, with Pat McAfee essentially replacing Shane. Rob Welcome says, hey Tom, boy oh boy, remember when some people were saying WWE hates Sasha Banks? She's right back in a title chase again. Got a rather squash win over Shotzi. You are never wrong about Sasha. I have been lucky enough to continually get the Sasha Banks news. To just continually get the right information about Sasha Banks and have it proven right very quickly. I've been very lucky, and I've been doing my research very thoroughly when it comes to Sasha Banks. If you want Sasha Banks news, this is very much the place. So hit subscribe. Get the Tables Welcome says, just don't see a 76-year-old Vince McMahon in the ring versus McAfee. I can see Theory taking that spot. Theory and McAfee could be interesting. I agree. I think the fact that it's against Pat McAfee is telling. Pat McAfee is a good wrestler, but he's still very new to it. So I just don't see Vince McMahon or his company being that trusting. This is not to say he doesn't trust McAfee, but McAfee is still green. That is a fact. Now, if he was in the ring against someone, say Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, he'd feel safer. And Vince would be more likely to do that, or work with a Kevin Owens as he has in the past. Vince McMahon, a big Kevin Owens fan. But there's a reason that Shane McMahon's been the guy getting the matches. Jay Quick says, is Pat the replacement for Shane? That's certainly a strong possibility. I find that the more likely scenario. Andrew Quinn says, hello Tom, how are you today? I'm happy my club, Liverpool, won the League Cup. Also, there was something very interesting Corey Graves said. He said someone familiar is returning to the WWE. He did say that. He did indeed. A lot of people are suddenly teasing big names appearing. A lot of people are suddenly mentioning Cody Rhodes catchphrases in their promos. A lot of people seem to be on a mission to make you think something is happening. It feels very CM Punk, doesn't it? Rob says, and as for the Roman Reigns promo on Friday, I loved it. He is a face of the company who brings in tons of money, so he has major bragging rights and made points. I don't know how many of you will have watched back the watch party. I understand that it's only really entertaining live, so I kind of get it. But I really loved that Roman Reigns promo. I really thought that was high quality, even just in the passion in his voice. Sean Garner says, will Naomi and Sasha be winning the titles? I think they will, yes. I don't give away spoilers to match results. I think they will, yes. KJ, welcome mate, says, is it possible that they're just using Vince's name to help tickets and then Theory will take his spot come showtime? Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It is certainly possible that the WWE are essentially using this as a method of false advertising. They've been very good at that in the past, and honestly, I wouldn't complain because they're carnies. That's wrestling. Wrestling is a carny industry. It's clever. Mogzy says, any update on Cody Rhodes? None whatsoever. To my knowledge, Cody Rhodes has not signed a WWE contract. The WWE have prepared some options for him, but he has not yet signed a WWE contract. That is the latest update that I have. Michael says, Sasha and Naomi should get their song back from the Street Profits. I was not watching during the Team Bad time. I started again just after. So, is that something that actually happened? Because if so, wow. Jay Quick says, do you think with them unifying the world titles that they will eventually unify the women's and tag titles? The word eventually there, Jay Quick, leaves a multitude of sins. Eventually they will unify, destroy, retire every single championship. That is a fact. When it comes to now, I don't think so. But the WWE have been changing their minds every couple of days about this. So there are no guarantees. Nobody can give you a full response on this. Nobody. Kervin says, WWE don't have enough women's tag partners for Sasha and Naomi. You only actually need one tag partner in order to be a tag team. When it comes to opponents, that's a problem. Hopefully this results in the rebuilding of the division. If they're going to unify the women's championships, they will definitely have to rebuild that division. Even if they don't, the fact that there is literally one tag team, that's a problem. They need to work on that. Sean says, any news for Alexa at WrestleMania? Plans are still under consideration. They want to give Alexa Bliss a match, but they also did not want Alexa Bliss to return until after WrestleMania anyway. There are still more therapy vignettes that have not been played. The plan at Elimination Chamber was not for Alexa Bliss to be in the chamber originally. Kervin says, Tom, I'm going to be honest. WWE made me not care about WrestleMania 38. No matches for Mania. I'm really looking forward only to Edge versus AJ Styles. Edge versus AJ Lee would be a hell of a match. She did a pretty good spear, as I recall, AJ Lee. AJ Lee versus AJ Styles would be even better. Octopuses aplenty. I think Edge versus AJ Styles, if it happens, will be a very, very fun match. As you know, Fightful Select, behind the paywall, recently reported that, hey, we may get AJ Styles versus Edge. This was about a week after I reported it. About a week after I initially reported it here on these channels for you guys. So when it comes to that match, I'm very excited for it. Like, very excited for it. And I think they can deliver something that's going to be a lot of fun. But when it comes to everything else on the card, I think we're going to have high quality wrestling, but I worry as to the overall quality of the storylines. If you are currently watching on YouTube, please do consider hitting that like button. That little thumbs up almost guarantees additional viewership, the growth of the channel, and the ability to help me find new sources, get more information, and potentially go full-time with it. So please consider doing so, and subscribe if you haven't already. We are looking for just 18 more subscribers in order to reach monetization. Just 18 more. That is the amount of likes that I'm seeing right now on this video, and less than half of the current viewership of this video. So if you're able to subscribe, please do consider doing so. It will be a big help in our growth. Ghost, welcome to the show, says, well, Trish is done filming, per her Instagram. She will be in Dallas WrestleMania weekend for WrestleCon, so I personally won't be shocked if Trish and or Lita is used at this year's WrestleMania. I would not be shocked to see both of them at WrestleMania either, and I think logically, yes, having the two of them as a tag team makes the most sense. Ed's gonna get me in trouble. Ed says, thoughts on the NXT 2.0 roster and their dislike for Meltzer. Dave Meltzer is popular with a very specific crowd when it comes to wrestling. That crowd is essentially the people he gives awards to. He's very popular with people that he gives awards to. He's not very popular with the people he doesn't give awards to, otherwise known as the entirety of the WWE. He's not very popular with them. A lot of the most recent developments, most recent developers in WWE, so a lot of people coming through in NXT 2.0 right now, have lost patience with Dave Meltzer, and they are more than happy to jump in and say to Dave, yeah, what you've just said is completely wrong. We've seen this recently on a number of occasions. A large part of this isn't just NXT 2.0, it's NXT in general. Basically, no one who's come through NXT has any time for Dave Meltzer, as we've seen with Seth Rollins as well. Dave Meltzer, not popular amongst the new generation, which leads me to believe that Dave Meltzer's sources in WWE may be moving on, shall we say. But that's just my opinion. Ethan says, hey Tom, hey Ethan, how you doing, mate? Simon is saying, Carabao League Cups, 8 for City, 9 for Liverpool. Yeah, so it's our cup. KJ says, this may be a reach, but is it possible Gargano comes back? One of his shirt deals ends on the day Raw goes to Cleveland, his hometown. It's a theory Twitter has. It's certainly possible that he makes an appearance. However, at this point, Johnny Gargano is keeping his options open. He was happy to let his contract run down, and once he's had some time with his child, he'll be considering what to do next. So it's possible he makes an appearance, but from what I can tell, he has no intention of signing a new contract with anyone, not least WWE. Jay Quick says, does Charlotte have any chance of beating Ronda at Mania? Yeah, absolutely. It's down to Vince. We all know that Vince McMahon likes to change his mind at the last minute, and giving Charlotte Flair a win over Ronda Rousey at the last minute is a very Vince McMahon thing to do. KJ says, it takes time to build a star that helps to sell 100,000 tickets. WWE's do something they've never done before, and that is selling 200,000 tickets for one event. They've already sold 100,000 combined between two nights, but it's not surprising that it's a struggle. That is true, and I think a lot of that is down to WrestleMania being WrestleMania. You can sell tickets for WrestleMania just by virtue of it being WrestleMania. That's not really that big a concern. Nobody's particularly worried about that. The WWE have no real worries whatsoever about selling out WrestleMania. The only people who have any concerns about it are people who want to make you concerned about it. You know, people who we really shouldn't listen to. Sonic says, hello, mate. Simon says, they'll make some other tag teams plus Legends teams too as well. Very possible. I do think we will see, for example, Natalya and Beth Phoenix reunite soon. Hey, Astrid, how you doing? Great to see you. Max says, hi, Tom. Do you think Roman Reigns is holding the unified title after next year's WrestleMania against The Rock? There are no guarantees that Roman Reigns will face The Rock in next year's WrestleMania. I want to be clear on that. There is a plan in place for Becky Lynch versus Ronda at next year's WrestleMania. There is not a plan in place formally for Roman Reigns versus The Rock. What there is a plan in place for is Roman Reigns versus The Rock as soon as they can do it. This has also been the plan last year, the year before, and the year before. They can't get The Rock because of his working schedule. They just can't. So I know we're seeing rumours about, we'll be doing it next year at WrestleMania. We had those same rumours for this year's WrestleMania. We had those same rumours for last year's WrestleMania. We had those same rumours for the WrestleMania before that. I cannot in good conscience take Roman versus The Rock at WrestleMania rumours seriously. I just can't. Kevin says, why did the WWE never care about the Ascension? I don't know, and I would genuinely love to know. So that's a very good question, Kevin. Ethan says, any news on Bayley on when she is returning? Soon. She has not been cleared in time for WrestleMania as best I can tell, and this is why Sasha and Naomi are teaming instead of Sasha and Bayley, but we'll wait and see as to what actually happens. I suspect she'll be returning right after WrestleMania. WrestleFan says, will every title be defended at WrestleMania 38? Yes. J Quick says, does Asuka come back and win the Battle Royal at Mania? Come back? Yes. Win? I don't think so. As a quick caveat, I don't know if the 24/7 title will be defended at WrestleMania because I keep forgetting that it exists. Moneymaker says, I can't believe there are people on social media who are hating the idea of Sasha and Naomi teaming together, saying it's a downgrade for them. Wow, mate. I mean, I get what you're saying. It's almost as if people in here have been really angry about Sasha Banks not getting the specific match that they want her to get. It's funny that. Sonic says, I hope Vince won't injure himself again. Remember back in the 2005 Royal Rumble? Yeah, I have very, very fond memories of that. Very fond memories of him running down to the ring, jumping in and then sitting there. Just that moment of pure panic on his face. No pain, no reaction. Literally, it just tore, his muscle just basically tore off the bone. And he just sat there like, oh shit. It's great. Kervin says, can WWE book heel Damian Priest versus Bad Bunny? Ooh. I mean, that's not bad. I like that. Simon says, would absolutely love just an AEW-based, focus-centric podcast sometime, getting to the meat and potatoes of the company, money-wise, roster, everything. I don't watch enough of it in order to do that now. In future, that may be a possibility. I do have people who really want to do that. Gotcha. Jay Quick says, is there any chance we could get McAfee versus Corey Graves down the line? I hope so. That's the match I wanted for McAfee. Matthew Ham says, any updates on planned matches for WrestleMania? I spoke earlier about Sasha Banks and her match for WrestleMania, but we were already talking about that. That's news that I already broke, the plan for her to be in the tag title match a couple of weeks. Maybe a week ago? Not too long. Maybe a week ago here. But beyond that, when it comes to planned matches, the only one I've really spoken about is Pat McAfee and plans there. I do think it's more likely we get McAfee versus Austin Theory. But hey, there are reports out there saying Vince is coming back. Same thing, song with different lyrics. That's interesting. Very interesting. Rob says, it seems like a way as WWE basically telling us, hey, we know we haven't given you much reason to care about the tag titles. Here's Sasha Banks. We think you'll care now. And I do. They've done a great job with that. James Stewart says, can't see Austin having a match at Mania, but can see him stunning Owens. I feel one way or the other we will get a stunner on Kevin Owens, even if it is just Steve Austin walking out, beating up Owens and then drinking some beer. I think that's certainly more likely for me than nothing at this point. But hey, if they're trying to get a match going. I worry that we're getting all of this news, like all of this news about the WrestleMania card, at a time when there's also a lot of news about how last minute the entire WrestleMania card is. A lot of this genuinely could be intentionally leaked false information in order to make people buy tickets. Sean said, I looked at, as of yesterday, Brock is still the favourite in the betting odds to beat Roman at WrestleMania, and I saw that Becky is the favourite for right now. Neither of those are what I believe will happen. That will change in the days leading up. Montel says, hey Tom, hope for next year they're going to unify the Raw and SmackDown Championship. We'll see at WrestleMania. Spider-Boss says it's only Sasha and Naomi versus Zelina and Carmella at Mania. They are waiting to see if anybody else makes themselves available, such as the Bella Twins or Trish and Lita. Mogsy says, do you think Cody will eventually sign for the WWE? I think so. However, it's entirely up to Cody. I don't know the man personally. Jay Quick says, will Backlash be nothing but Mania rematches? No, it will be more than that. It will be WrestleMania rematches and some normal matches, basically. Okay, someone just called lazy. Says, okay, I will say it. Brie Bella should not be in the Hall of Fame. She could never win the Women's Championship. I disagree. I think Brie Bella is definitely Hall of Famer. She brought a lot of fans to the WWE. You've got to realise that as the WWE focuses its attention entirely on casual viewers, the fact that she helmed Total Divas with Nikki, and in fact Total Bellas with Nikki, is a very positive thing. Also, as Ed does remind you a little later on, Brie Bella was the champion. So, David Leary says, Meltzer and Alvarez constantly trash NXT 2.0. And I think that's a shame. I don't watch it religiously. I don't watch it enough, I don't feel, but I really enjoyed it. Spider-Boss says, congratulations for Liverpool. Thank you, mate. It was a good match. It was good to watch. Jay Quick says, do you think WWE would bring back Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan and make them a team? I thought that's where we were going at the Royal Rumble, but we haven't seen Sarah Logan since. Maybe she's not ready to return. If you are currently watching on YouTube, please do remember to hit that like. That little thumbs up can make a massive difference, and I very much appreciate it. And of course, if you can, subscribe as well. We have managed to reach a point of 60 viewers so far during this show, which is a very, very good place to be. And I do want to say a quick thank you to everyone who has hit like, who has subscribed, and who is currently helping us on the chase to 1,000 subscribers. We are only 18 away from monetization. What? We are only 11 away from monetization. What? I wasn't ready for that refresh. We're only 11 away from monetization. Please keep going. That's great news. Get back on track. Get back on track. Douglas says, any update in plans for Tommaso Ciampa? I feel the most likely scenario right now is Ciampa versus Balor, but I don't think they're formally going to bring him up until after WrestleMania. Welcome, Wiggly. How you doing, mate? Jermaine says, hey, Tom. What did I miss news-wise? Can you give me a quick recap, please? We spoke about the Sasha Banks position, and that I previously did say that she's going to be in the tag division, and that is exactly how it's played out. Bayley did not manage to clear a fitness test, which is why she is not in the same position, whereas Sasha Banks was able to essentially have a big say in who she would be tagging with. She chose Naomi, or Creative chose Naomi with her. Beyond that, I spoke a little bit about Vince McMahon. The appearance on the Pat McAfee Show is with a view to setting up a WrestleMania match. However, it is not necessarily setting up a WrestleMania match between Pat McAfee and Vince McMahon. Austin Theory is still a possible proxy for Vince McMahon. And of course, with him being that proxy, that is with a view to replacing the match that was originally planned for Austin Theory, which was Theory versus Shane McMahon. There is apparently a rule that there has to be a McMahon wrestling at WrestleMania nowadays. Funny old things. How did you, man? How you doing? Wiggly says, do you see WWE pushing Xia Li far? No, not yet, but maybe eventually. Jay Quick says, do you see Beth Phoenix at Mania? Yes, I feel she'll be in the Battle Royal, but I feel that's a good place to have her, to be fair. B-School Nick, welcome, mate. Says, Tamina push coming? Nah. Ed says, as regards Brie Bella, 301 days as champion in her longest reign, with 307 days overall. Brie Bella's work, to be fair, with, let's say, Stephanie McMahon, was pretty good. Lazy, the reason AJ Lee is not in the Hall of Fame is because she said no. Michael Winston, welcome to the show, mate. Says, any updates on Bobby Lashley? At the moment, there is not much information coming out about Bobby. There is not that much information coming out about Bobby Lashley because essentially they're not sure he's going to make it to Mania. I know that we're seeing reports now that he thinks he'll be able to get to the MSG show and potentially the WrestleMania show, but they are not planning anything creatively to accommodate that. So if, for example, he was cleared in the last week, they wouldn't have a match lined up for him. So it's very possible that what's going to happen is that he's going to get cleared and go into the Battle Royal. If that's the case, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Because it means he was cleared, they can protect him, and he got his payday. Sean says, Ringside News tweeted that Seth Rollins claims he has a Raw Tag Team title match locked for WrestleMania 38. Sean also says, I think Seth tweeted something about it too. Yeah, I think Ringside News have misunderstood the word kayfabe there. Jay Quick says, all Sasha and Naomi's missing is Tamina. Well, that day could come. After all, Naomi and Tamina have tagged together recently. Well, moderately recently as well. Astrid says, I don't like that she isn't in the SmackDown Women's title match, but as long as she's part of Mania somehow, I'm happy. And I think that's a fair comment. We got a lot of drama in this chat quite recently about Sasha Banks not being on the WrestleMania card. And me saying that this was the plan. She was going to be in the tag division. That's the creative first choice, as it were. They were just waiting for her to be available so they could do that. The moment finally comes, everyone calms down. Sasha Banks can't always be doing the same thing, and admittedly, this gives her a great opportunity to pick up that win. Jay Quick says, do you think Triple H appears at Mania in some capacity? I do not. KJ believes that AJ Lee will be in the Hall of Fame one day. I think so as well, but it will essentially be the day when we know for certain that when she is presented, the fans won't chant CM Punk at her. Fans are disrespectful. Simon is saying, are you doing an AEW Revolution watch along? I am not. I do not watch AEW regularly enough, when that really makes that difficult. So I will not be watching AEW watch parties, at least until I'm full-time. Thank you very much for the subscription, Nay. I appreciate that very much. Thank you kindly for joining me on this whole adventure. And if you have not subscribed yet, please do consider doing so and hit that thumbs up if you can as well. Ethan says, could Sasha and Naomi show up on Raw tomorrow, start feuding with Zelina and Carmella to start their build towards WrestleMania? Absolutely they could. And that is one of the main reasons that Sasha Banks is going into the tag division, to basically use the star power that she has across both brands. Jay Quick says, do you see Ronda and Shayna winning the women's titles? Yes, eventually, absolutely I do. I'm confident that moment will come between those two, and I think it will be very much while Ronda is already a women's champion. Ghost says, what are we going to do if Vincent Kennedy McMahon returns to the ring? I'm not emotionally and spiritually prepared for that. Neither am I. It's going to be a very, very confusing time for everyone involved, and I'm not entirely behind it, but if it happens, I'll just hope he's not about to die. Hector, welcome, says, isn't it kind of ironic that Vince was entrenched in the steroid trial, but every time we see him in the ring it looks like he's eating steroids for breakfast? Just a weird thought. But happy Sunday, mate. It is a weird thought, that is true. It's just a very, very strange thought, but man's buff. The man's more dedicated to working out than anyone I've ever met. Spider-Boss says, any chance of Sasha and Naomi winning at WrestleMania? Yes, there is a chance of that. BFG Podcast says, I'm back. At this rate, it looks like Undertaker will be a standalone induction for the Hall of Fame. I don't believe there are any intentions to do that, but you're absolutely right in saying that they need to get a damn move on at this point. Sonic says, I hope Asuka will be back since tomorrow's the end of February. However, she might do something with the 24/7 title because, fun fact, Asuka designed the DDT Heavy Metal title. That's cool. That's very cool. However, we'll have to wait a little longer for Asuka, it seems. Simon says, any chance Alexa Liv team up, Tom? Yes, there is a slight chance that could happen. I find it more likely they'll be going against each other, but it's a possibility. Andrew Quinn says, come on, people. Subscribe to Tom. This will help him massively. And it will. It absolutely will. I just had a quite shocking moment when I realised that we've had a significant boost when it comes to the subscribers. And yeah, this is big, guys. This is the push to partner. When I say monetized, I'm on the push to... I need 6. We are 6 subscribers away from Monetization. We are currently sitting on 45 viewers. This is. I'm going to keep going with the questions because I want to make sure everyone is heard. Please keep the questions coming. Please keep the subscriptions and the likes coming as well. We already have 28, which is pretty damn cool. Spider-Boss says, I always wonder if there is any heat on Charlotte after a confrontation with Becky in 2021. There is not. The two of them sat down and worked it out. They're not the closest of friends, but there is no real drama anymore. Moneymaker says, Dave and Bryan constantly bash anything WWE but praise almost everything AEW does because they think having great matches is all that matters. You're entitled to your opinion on that, and honestly, I feel both sides do great matches, but they are also entitled to their opinion, even though I may disagree. KJ says, Priest versus who at Mania? Finn/Demon, maybe Seth if he doesn't get the Cody, because it seems he doesn't have a spot. Damian Priest right now does not have a spot. I definitely think he's someone who's sort of been offered to Cody Rhodes as a potential match at Mania, but hey, maybe we get Vince versus Damian. Stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. It's also a possibility, of course, Kevin Owens is being saved for Damian Priest. I think Damian Priest is one of those that's just sort of being held back ready. Just held back ready. Ed, I'm really pretty sure that was Brie and not Nikki. I'm really pretty sure. Ed just says, words, Tom. Use your words. You're a writer. You can do this. That's in response to my first speechless moment earlier. Jake Quick says, do you think Vince will have someone with him on the Pat McAfee show? I don't. I honestly think he's a very talented talker. Just let him rip, let him go nuts on that show on his own, and he'll make it work. James Stewart says, I hope Vince doesn't do anything at 76. Would give Hogan ideas, as he stated he wanted his last match to be in WWE. It would give Hogan ideas, and Vince would probably agree to it, because why the hell not? Darnell says, hey Tom. Hey Darnell, how you doing? I'm going to say Jared Fife. Says, hey Tom, who's Edge's opponent at Mania? Most likely opponent for Edge at WrestleMania right now is AJ Styles. Both Edge and AJ Styles himself are trying to push hard with WWE Creative to make this happen, and I definitely think it's very likely that this moment does come. While Ed Welcome says hello to all viewers. Looking forward to the WrestleMania show. Me too, man, me too. I know a lot of people aren't too excited for this year's WrestleMania, but I've got to say, it's always WrestleMania. It always feels big, like WrestleMania, so there's good stuff coming. Jermaine says, hey Tom, believe it or not, SmackDown's women's division doesn't have enough female heels. I don't believe it, Jermaine. I don't. It feels like there's only two faces in there. Who have you got for heels? Charlotte. I wanted to say Ronda, but let's not for now. Charlotte, Sonya, Shotzi, Natalya, Shayna. That's actually less than I thought. But probably because there's so few women on SmackDown now. Matthew Ham says, what will happen in the coming weeks to Raw? Like, will Finn Balor win the US title? Will Orton turn on Riddle after losing the Raw tag title match? And will Cody and Stone Cold show up? I cannot confirm any of those things, unfortunately, Matthew. When it comes to Finn Balor in the US title, it seems like he's the only logical choice right now, but it looks more likely that he's going to be working a tag scene with Tommaso Ciampa. Orton turning on Riddle, I don't think so yet. I don't think Orton would turn on Riddle for losing the Tag Team Championship shot. Honestly, I think they've got everything they want. I'm very good at recognizing the troll that we've got because they always do the same crap. So just by saying hello, I know you're a troll and I'm just going to stop you. But stick around for the next 300 seconds. Give me the watch time. Wildlad says, I think Brock Lesnar will win the match, making him into a strong champion. I think the fans want him to be the champion. He's been a very good face. He's been a very good guy. I did not realize how good Brock Lesnar was going to be in this role. I really didn't, but I'm very happy about it, as a lot of other people are. That said, I don't think he'll be winning. I think he'll be taking time off after Mania. Gio says, I most definitely just subscribed on 2 different accounts. All love for Mr. Tom Colohue. Well, the subscription did certainly have a bit of a nay about it, which is why I may have highlighted that one. I don't know how YouTube feels about that. We are very close though, and that's all I'll say on that one. Alyssa Welcome says, Seth Rollins deserves better, should main event WrestleMania, and not internet Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. I think Seth Rollins should be certainly involved. I think he's got WrestleMania main eventer in there. They just, for some reason, are not giving him that particular opportunity. The fans are really getting behind him all over again. I do think the most likely scenario, though, is Seth versus Cody. Failing that, Seth versus Damian Priest is the most likely backup. Sean says, the only thing I've ever seen Alvarez tweet is ratings for Raw, SmackDown and AEW. A lot of people really jump on those ratings and he gets so much engagement out of them that that's kind of more than enough for him. Jay Quick says, hashtag monetize before tonight. Well, that would be a thing. I don't think we're quite there, but hey, we've gained 12 so far tonight. So stranger things have indeed happened. Stranger things have definitely happened, and I 13, gained 13. You're 5 away. 5 away. So if you have not yet done so, please consider hitting that thumbs up. That really helps us find new people and a new audience and help us grow. If we can get those 5, after all, we are monetized, and then I'm essentially getting paid for presenting this show, and none of it's coming away from you guys, which is important to me. Wrestler Fan says, do you think John Cena will appear at WrestleMania? I do not. I really do not. If he hasn't appeared yet already, then I don't think there's any point doing so. Simon says, Sting is wrestling in a 6-man with Darby, Sammy versus Private Party, Andrade Revolution to very smartly protect Stinger again as he's 62. Yep, it's clever. That's the beauty of tag matches. King Zandy says, how long are they planning to have Sasha and Naomi team up? There is no plan at the moment. There is no plan whatsoever. The decision to have them team up is only a couple of days old. Kervin says, Asuka and Xia Li tag team would be cool. I feel they'd have a very, very interesting entrance. But I'd rather Asuka be a single star at the moment, at least. Spider Boss says, Charlotte is kind of the John Cena of the women's division. Yep, she's definitely the Charlotte of the Charlotte division. I don't like the direct comparisons, but certainly there are elements of that. I've never seen Charlotte do the hashtag ya boy, so I wouldn't entirely say that. Sean says, maybe Damien defends in the Battle Royal. That could be fun, actually. That's not a bad shout, and not a bad idea. It certainly made me more interested. Jermaine says, the lack of female heel on SmackDown. Do you feel WWE might turn Sasha and Naomi heel, put them with the Bloodline so all the titles will be with the Bloodline? I do not. I feel the most likely next heel turn is Ronda Rousey. Spider-Boss says, when AEW get low ratings, Meltzer doesn't post on social media. Meltzer is not good with social media, and it's very, very clear. Very clear indeed. Sonic says, I don't want Priest to destroy Vince McMahon like crazy when Priest unleashed the Damien. I mean, it's a thing. Could work. King Zandy said, would it be better to scrap the tag titles and bring the US and IC titles for the women? I don't believe so. I feel if you commit to having a Raw Women's Champion, a SmackDown Women's Champion, and floating tag team championships for someone slightly lower down the card, like Carmella and Zelina Vega, you have more than enough to get on with. What you need is 3 women's tag teams on Raw, 2 women's tag teams on SmackDown, a division of 5 different tag teams that are just going out there, having great matches, and rotating as to who's got them, who's competing. Then, once those tag teams start to get really over, one of them goes for another championship, but they're still a tag team. Eventually you may break up the tag teams and shift and do from there, but you don't have to have that moment whereby everyone is either in the top division or in the tag division. You don't have to actually split it. Jay Quick says, will Sasha fight Ronda maybe by SummerSlam for the women's title? Possibly. It's really hard to tell at this point. A lot of this, I need everyone to realize, a lot of this is really being made up on the spot. Ronda was not meant to be here even as long as a month ago. And in addition to that, when it comes to Sasha, was not planned to be in the tag division even as recently as a week ago. So a lot of this is being made up as it goes. Simon wants Asuka and Io. I think Io could do better without Asuka, to be honest. Jermaine says, I find it funny that SmackDown is probably the best men's tag division and they don't really use it. See, I really like what's actually happening with the SmackDown tag division at the moment. I really like that. James Stewart said, is Paige still contracted to WWE? Yes, she is. Paige is still under contract for the WWE at this point, but it is not a deal to have her wrestle. It says, I've done the research, good sir. Brie held it for 70 days, Nikki for 307. I misunderstood there. When you put the actual length of title reign in, I thought we were still talking about Brie. When you said that was Nikki, I thought you meant the Stephanie McMahon angle, which was definitely Brie. So yes, thank you for doing the research and correcting me on that. Jordan says, hey Tom, how do you intend to celebrate getting monetized? Henderson Shuffle? Spray a bottle of champagne? Down 6 Jaeger bombs? All options. No, that I didn't say good options. The Henderson Shuffle is a really good shout and shows that like you guys are really paying attention. But that would be good, wouldn't it? Maybe I could buy a little trophy, like a dumb little trophy, and just like little tiny trophy, and just be like, ooh, oh, I want to do that now. I haven't thought about it. I've been so far away from 1,000 subscribers for so long, I haven't even thought about it. That's a good idea, Jordan. I'm going to think about that. Thank you. Spartabus says fans are going to be mad when Roman wins at Mania. I don't think they will. It's Roman. We all kind of love him. Sonic says SmackDown definitely needs more women. Bring back Asuka and have her in a major role. Call of Io Shirai, Dakota Kai and Raquel. I'd have Raquel go to Raw. I'd have Io Shirai go to Raw. I'd have Dakota Kai and Asuka go to, SmackDown though. I don't think you need many more women. Especially now that Sonya Deville's returned to wrestling full time. You know? I don't think you need many more. Jay Quick says, could it be Seth versus Roman at WrestleMania Backlash? Yes, I in fact think it probably will be Seth versus Roman at WrestleMania Backlash, and that's why the match at the Royal Rumble was inconclusive. Gervin is bored by Ronda promos. I don't necessarily think she's great at the promos, and I don't think she's a natural face. I think as much as anything, the problem is that they've got her in a face role that she's not comfortable with. Simon says, is it RK Bro versus Alpha Academy at Mania 38? 4-star Raw tag team titles. Championships. Do you think RK Bro will win? Okay, you're asking me if I know who's going to win a match that might not happen. That's the issue we've got. I think we're going to get RK Bro versus Alpha Academy because I don't know what else the tag championship match could be. And I feel that's why Seth and Kevin Owens have gotten involved now to sort of add that buffer to it. Simon says, do you see Priest going heel soon? No, not for a while yet. Matthew says, who will Damian Priest most likely face? I don't know. I feel he's being kept in reserve for a number of different people. As the card starts to lock in place, he'll get someone who's left, basically. Kings Andy says, what do you think of the comparison between Sasha and Seth? They get shafted despite being arguably the best workers in their divisions. I don't think anyone particularly gets shafted. Seth and Sasha have been multiple time champions and featured in some really top caliber matches in top caliber shows. That said, I know a lot of their fans aren't particularly happy, but I don't think any wrestlers' fans are particularly happy because everyone wants more success for the person that they like. I'd love to see Baron Corbin as champion. I like Baron Corbin. I'm not happy with his booking. But I think that's just me. KJ says, I think if the excitement level is low for Mania, it'll come as we get closer. If rumours are true, we could get Cody and Austin involved, and Edge versus AJ, possibly Orton versus Riddle, Cody versus Rollins. There's a lot of excitement right there. I do think they're putting together what should be a genuinely good show. They just need to hurry up and do it. Jermaine says, hey Tom, there's always a ladder match at WrestleMania. There is not always a ladder match at WrestleMania. It's been a while since we've seen a good one at least. The match that I think should be a ladder match would be Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville, because that would be funny. Sean says, have you seen the new trailer for Doctor Strange? Not as of yet. I'm going to check that out soon. And also, I heard the new Resident Evil movie was garbage. Aren't they all? Michael says, Revolution is stacked. I'm excited. AEW do tend to deliver on the big shows, I tell you that. Douglas says, I hope it will be a ladder match for the IC title at WrestleMania. Yeah, just as I said there, it looks like the IC title match is going to be Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville. I don't think Johnny Knoxville would have an issue jumping off a ladder. Wrestler fan says, what are the part-timer celebrity appearances at WrestleMania 38? So, we already have Johnny Knoxville. We have Logan Paul. Those are some of the big ones. I think Pat McAfee still counts as a celebrity, to be honest. At the moment, those are the only real big names that I can think. But I do expect Bad Bunny to make an appearance of some sort, even if it's just a vignette. Max says, I think the reason why some people are upset about Sasha being in the tag division is because they know that the original plan was to win the SmackDown Women's title in the main event, so it is understandable. She did get bumped off that match, but the thing to always remember is that Sasha Banks is happy in the WWE. She is happy in the WWE, so please be aware of that. In addition to that, those tag team championships are Sasha's baby. She wants them to do well. I also think it's very worth pointing out that, of course, the person who reported that Sasha Banks was kicked off that SmackDown Women's Championship match at WrestleMania. So yeah, I may have to take some credit for all of the hate going on out there. Andrew Quinn says, I know this wouldn't happen. What about this for a dream match? 2 ladder matches. Same time for both IC and United States title. Double ladder match in the same ring. I wouldn't hate that. Like, I actually really enjoyed the Money in the Bank match when it was both men's and women's and it was just going through Titan Towers. I just thought that was funny. I just really enjoyed it. So, you know, good shit. Good shit. Spider Boss says, I always wonder why Corey Graves talks trash about Sasha. I think it's just a heel trait. It keeps him heel. Simon says, are they ending the brand split? Not at this time. However, they are making it up as they go along, so that could change. Hector says, in your opinion, do you think Roman will have a say on who he loses the Universal title to or no? I think he should at least have some input. Little bit yes, little bit no. Roman Reigns does have a lot of say in his championship challenges. He's been able to pick a lot of people to be able to say, I want to face them, I want to face them. When it comes to championship changes, though, that's when he has no say. And I don't think he should have say. Because the WWE use those championships to get over the people that they have plans for in the future. So I don't feel that Roman should be able to scupper those plans personally. Dimitar says, someone on Raw needs to team up. Say Liv and Alexa or Nikki and Doudrop. Also, I think the best way to do it would be to let the tag members enter singles feuds without splitting the team. I agree with that. I also think Nikki and Doudrop does make a lot of sense and is good for both women. Liv and Alexa, maybe. Maybe. I think Liv could still do very good things in the singles division. And there are other people that could take that spot. Spider Boss says, I think Vince wants Raquel on SmackDown for a feud with Charlotte. I think they have the entire rest of their careers for that, and Vince is unlikely to make his decision entirely based on one match. Well, let's see who will be the next major signing for AEW. You think Brock Lesnar will go there one day? No, I don't think he will ever go there. He really genuinely loves Vince McMahon. There is love between those two men. Next major signing, I don't know, because you can't really balance out the concept of major signings when they've got CM Punk. David Leary says, how long before Toxic Attraction is on the main roster? I will give it about 6 months. I reckon around SummerSlam they'll be looking at them again. Kings Andy says, why are they doing more with Raw, NXT and leaving SmackDown out of the equation? Is it just to do with USA Network connection? What do you mean more? I don't understand what you mean more. Ahep says, WWE is getting boring of all the cuts. Certainly the cuts have impacted it. I definitely agree that the cuts have impacted the show. Wallace says, will WWE do more international tours, maybe to Asia and Indonesia? I'd like to see them here, but it's a dream. Maybe I have to travel to Saudi one day. They are looking at going more international, but that has sort of ended with COVID kicking in, so they're rolling back a little. I'm a big fan of Aaliyah, that's cool. Dimitar says, personally, I think Sasha and Naomi are going to be a great team. WWE usually cares when a horsewoman is involved. They just need to introduce more teams. I spoke recently in a video, I think about 2 months ago, saying that the horsewomen would be stepping back from prominence. And now we're in a situation whereby Sasha Banks is going into the tag division. Becky and Charlotte very likely to lose at WrestleMania. Guys, I would call that report confirmed. But that's just me. John says, Street Profits not got anything planned for Mania. Seems like they made the Andre the Giant Battle Royal as nothing planned. Yeah, but at the moment, nothing really planned for the Street Profits. They are not likely to be in the Tag Championship match. And honestly, I'm okay with that. They've been pretty heavily pushed when they were on SmackDown. Wrestling is cyclical. They'll fade to the background a little bit, and then when they're ready, they'll kick back into gear. Once RK Bro break up, the Alpha Academy is going to need someone to feud with, after all. The User says, hi mate, how you doing, The User? Great to see you. Michael says, Johnny Knoxville looks so damn old. He is, mate. The User says, what do you think Tony Khan's big announcement is? I don't think Tony Khan knows, because he really does tend to do this, whereby, oh, ratings have gone down. There's going to be a big announcement. What is it, Tony? There's going to be a big announcement. Okay, I get that. Like, I've heard you. I get it. What is it? There's going to be a big announcement. Fuck off, Tony. Simon says, Keeper's penalty is still flying high through the London night sky. Briefly touching on football, so I'd like stick around. I'll go back to wrestling in just a second. They brought on a keeper called Keeper, purely for the penalty shootout. He failed to stop all 11 of the penalties he faced, and then completely missed his own penalty. It was the worst decision they made. How Chelsea didn't win that, I have no idea. And I'm a Liverpool fan. Wallace is really proud as a Muslim to see Aaliyah and Sami Zayn do well. It's making good for fans like me and show us in a good light. All faiths and people's great. Thank you for saying that, Walid. I genuinely appreciate the sentiment you're saying there. Sami Zayn's been open in particular about wanting to, show that Muslims aren't evil, as a lot of people seem to have decided that they are. Sami Zayn is doing very good work in that regard, as are many other prominent Muslims in the world. KJ says Banks looked very happy on SmackDown, to be honest. She is very happy. She's genuinely very happy in the WWE. If there's one report that I feel is the most important one I've ever made, it's just that Sasha is happy, so calm down. Sonic says, take a look at Asuka, for example. I know she's had some success. Her fans are upset about her booking. I may be upset about booking, but it's just disappointed that her feuds ended in a cliffhanger. A lot of that is due to injury and absence, though, to be fair. KJ says, with Ronda coming back, I don't think Banks will win a singles women's title until late 2023. I agree with that. I think it's likely Sasha Banks will be out of the top championship picture for a while, as the horsewomen fade a little bit to the background. Well, as said, Asuka does good stunts. Want to see her come back, fight with Ronda, maybe in a cage match. They can do well. I don't think they need the cage. I think those two could just have great wrestling matches. They haven't really done that yet, and I'm excited for it. Wrestler fan says, will Stone Cold wrestle more after WrestleMania? Also, sorry for asking too many questions. No, mate. You ask as many questions as you would like. The more questions, the better, because these shows thrive on your input. The original spoiler warning concept was based on me presenting the news, answering the questions, then finishing. Typically, I had a lot more news to actually say, because I wouldn't, answer questions for the news. I would present the news to start with. So I would do all the news for 15-20 minutes, then answer questions, and I'd be done in 30 minutes. It would take me 2 hours. 2 hours or so to script all that out. Nowadays it takes me 15-20 minutes to script out, and the show still goes pretty damn well. So you guys are doing me an absolute service. Thank you, Kings Andy, for your subscription. Thank you for joining us and for sharing your questions as well. The chat rate is an important feature on both YouTube and Twitch. The more active a community is, the more this site pushes you. The more questions you have, the better for me, I promise you. Will Stone Cold wrestle more after WrestleMania? I don't know if he's going to wrestle at WrestleMania yet. Once we know that, then I'll try and find out more. Battle Boss says, Sasha is happy is all that matters to me, and I think that's fair. While that is a big fan of Ronda Rousey and Brock Lesnar. Simon says, are they unifying the SmackDown Raw Women's Singles Main Roster Championship soon? At the moment, no. However, as I say, this is all being made up as it goes along, let's be honest. King Zandy says, I just mean we've seen a lot of interaction between Raw and NXT, but nothing between SmackDown and NXT. Thank you, Zandy. Thank you for clarifying that. I do believe it is based on the fact that it's USA. They split the talent as to USA talent and Fox talent, because Fox does not like sharing talent. Michael says, nothing annoys me more than fans saying how bad they want Sasha to get out of her contract when she's perfectly happy. I agree, Michael. As you guys may well know, I've become quite passionate recently in response to a lot of the hyperbole around Sasha Banks and her contract. As far as I'm concerned, if someone is happy in their company, you don't get an opinion on whether they should leave. Battle Boss says, I would love to see a WWE live event in South America to watch Sasha live. I hope that happens for you one day, mate. Jared5 says, don't really think Brock cares about his feelings. When it comes to AEW, he'd just go to the highest offer. Disagree entirely. Based on what I know about Brock Lesnar and what he's been open about with himself, he would not want to leave the WWE. And when he does, he would not want to go to AEW. Sean Cena says about the announcement from Tony Khan, I think it's Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy's certainly a possibility. Jeff Hardy will be going to AEW. You heard it here first. You didn't hear it here first, but you heard it from me first. Astrid said, it's so accurate. It's an announcement for announcement. That's what I see. Yeah. He's openly said it When he mentioned the whole Forbidden Door thing with his last big announcement, he didn't have Jay White yet. Christoph says, just tuned in. Hi, Tom. Hope you're doing good and safely on the road to monetization, of course. Yes, Christoph, I'm doing very well. And yes, indeed, I'm on the road to monetization. It's been a fantastic show in that regard. A lot of people really doing me favours here and really doing everything they can to help. So thank you, everybody. And welcome, Christoph. Steve says, what's happening, Tom? Hope you're well. Only 5 subs to go. I know, mate. I know. It's been a hell of a show. Hell of a show. Hope you're well as well. The user says, do you reckon AEW will ever do a UK show? Yes. But I don't think it will be anytime soon. Honestly, I think it's a little bit of false advertising because they keep saying they're going to. That said, COVID has made everything a lot more difficult. Walla says, there was a Muhammad Hassan story many years ago that was bad for Muslims, made fans like me feel embarrassed. And I think that's fair. I think that's absolutely fair. Sami Zayn is a Muslim, does very, very well when it comes to that field and showing Muslims in a good light. Aaliyah, also now wrestling on main roster as well. Hector says, do you see acquiring the Ring of Honor tape library as a huge announcement worthy for Tony Khan or no? No, absolutely not. But Tony Khan has a habit of promising high and under-delivering. Ed says 4 subs to go. Kings Andy says, yes, to something Simon said. Sean says, do you think Alexa will ever win a singles title again? Yes, and not too far away. BFG says, I just sent bribe with my backup account to help you out. Oh, I just subscribed to my backup account to help you out. Thank you, BFG. I really do appreciate that. We have the watch time. All we need now is the subscriber numbers. So even if you're never going to watch the show on that channel, on that account, you are doing me a service and I appreciate it. Wiggly says, looks like Goldberg won't be coming to FTLOW this year, which is for the love of wrestling. Pardon me. In Liverpool, England. I'm okay with that. James Stewart says, 3 to go. Only 3. Wow, we are so close. Kings Andy says, what is the reason for the title unification? Best I can tell, based on the discussions that I've had, the main reason for title unification is that there is no one left for Roman Reigns to face on SmackDown. There's basically Drew McIntyre or bust. So they're trying to get a bit more life out of it by having him wrestle on Raw more often. That's the best I can tell at the moment. Wiggly says, keeper failing to save a penalty and missing with karma for his behaviour in the Cup final years ago. I didn't say it. Andrew Quinn says, I feel like Stone Cold shows up tomorrow. It's a tag title match tomorrow, and if Seth and KO lose image, both Cody and Stone Cold both show up. They would definitely lose. Need to lose that match to make that happen. Ed is suggesting that the show keeps going until we get 1k subs. Well, we still have questions, Ed. As long as we have questions, I will keep going. And yeah, we are very, very close. Everything Network, welcome to the show, says almost at 1k, about to get you 2 more subs. Wow, guys. Y'all are doing me great right now. You really are. I want to say a huge thank you. Just a massive thank you, because 1,000 is a big number. 1,000 is a big number. And when I first started doing this, I didn't think we'd get to 1,000. I didn't think anyone would care. Instead, what's happened is over the last year, I've had some of the best nights of my life hanging out with you guys. And during a global pandemic, you all kept me on course. My mental health took a pretty big hit. And with tape and string, many of you held me together. So as we get that close to the 1,000, just thank you. KJ says, wrestling news keeps me from sleeping. It's getting mad late. Woke up early due to being anxious. Cody needs to show up so I can sleep. Yeah, he does. He needs to stop being unfair and let you sleep. That's what he needs to do. Tommy B, welcome. Says, seems like AEW fans only think wrestlers are happy if they are with AEW. That is not true. Many wrestlers are happy in WWE. Yeah, that's absolutely true. I think there is a lot of partisan belief on both sides. A lot of not so partisan, but we are where we are. Christoph says, what promotions do you watch on a regular basis beside WWE, Tom? New Japan and also AEW now? Or is it getting too much of an investment in time following all these? I still watch New Japan regularly, so it's basically WWE and New Japan. AEW, I watch it when I can. I watch it when I can. So when the opportunity arises, I'll grab it. But I do work a full-time job. So I'm not able to do so. I'm not able to do so. If that day does come, wonderful. And I think it may, because to be honest, we get 40, 50, 60 viewers on these shows now. So we're growing fast. I don't think we're going to be anywhere near full time next year, but give me 2 or 3. Give me 2 or 3. Well, it says, I hope to go study in the US. Maybe I can go watch WWE and AEW live and meet Sami Zayn and Aaliyah. That would be absolutely fantastic. That would be absolutely fantastic. Simon says, will NXT UK last another year? Yes, it absolutely will, because, to be blunt, it's cheap as hell. While it says, just like you said, Sami very proud of his faith and culture, very pleased he's a good role model. We're getting conflicting reports right now, guys. We're getting conflicting reports. I'm seeing 999, 998, and 1K. It's getting conflicting reports. I'm going to keep doing questions. Kings Andy says Sasha's last tweet and IG story pretty much sums things up. The woman is happy not only in WWE, but what she's doing outside stuff. I expect her in Mando free given the storyline they've set up. Absolutely, and she has been recording for it. Wiggly, no, gifting a sub on Twitch does not take me one closer to monetization. The subs is based on YouTube, so if you gift a sub, I'm not going to complain. Okay, let me double check this, because I'm getting congratulations. Let me double check this. Let me see it. Let me physically see it. It is a very good day to be Tom Colohue. We did it. We fucking did it. We got there. Thank you, all of you. 18 today. 18. Monetized by Mania, I said. Monetized by Mania. Here we are. Michael dropping 500 bits to celebrate on Twitch. Thank you, Michael. That is very generous of you. I do appreciate it. Thank you, as always, for joining me and being a regular on these shows as well. We have had an incredible amount of success over the last 2 months or so. And you guys have given me a hell of a lot. So, thank you. Thank you. Team Colohue. Monetized. Well, not technically monetized. I do have to apply for it, but we've hit the goals. We've hit the targets. We will go from here. Okay, right. I'm going to wrap up these questions. I'm loving seeing so many people with the congratulations. Thank you, everyone. I will catch up with the chat and get to these because I'm losing them. Christoph says, so many good Cesaro memories. Liked what you and Nick said about him. For me, the beach ball moment came to mind too. Absolutely, I loved that beach ball moment. I'm losing stuff at this point. Dimitar says, 1 in the morning here, but I'm still going to stay up. Larry Bongo, welcome, says there is a basic shortage of good guys in wrestling. Nearly everyone's a bit heelish. I think we need more all-out good guys. I agree entirely. Kings Andy says, an NXT UK question, what is the end goal of the brand? To make more money for the WWE, and that is literally it. James Stewart says, what has been your favourite crowd pop moment in the 24 odd years you've watched, Tom? That's a really difficult question. I really enjoyed Brock Lesnar losing to Goldberg. I feel that was a really good way of really popping the crowd. Then here we are with the 1K. Hector says, we need the first official Tom Colohue shirt to be a black shirt with the word monetized. I mean, that's transferable skills right there. Not impossible. And here we are. So many people. Thank you so much, guys, celebrating with me. KJ says, Roman on Raw could face Randy, Riddle, AJ, Cody, Priest, Bobby, and rematch with Seth, and even KO, as it's been a year since they had that feud. Yes, and I feel this is why they are doing the conglomeration of the championships. It says 1K has happened. James Stewart says 1K confirmed. Steve says congratulations on 1K, dude. So well deserved. We can monetize now. Christoph says we'll all celebrate together when you reach 1,000. And of course, chant, you deserve it. Literally, as I was reaching it. Tommy says congrats on 1K subs. Let's go. Guys, we're here. I will check Twitter in just a moment, Ed, as soon as I've caught up. Jermaine says thank you, Tom, for keeping us informed and being the best wrestling journalist out there. I will do my best to keep you as informed as I can. That is the promise of the Tom Colohue channel. Thank you guys for giving me this chance. Michael says 1k. Ross Menzies says 1k subs according to mine. BFG says you did it. Yes, 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 yes. David Leary is saying we did it, and we did. Dimitar says grats Tom. Thank you, Dimitar. Wiggly says I used my professional business account to add a sub. You guys bending over backwards for me here. Montel says 1k. Astrid says congrats Tom. Everything Network saying you got it. Thank you so much, guys. So much, guys. Tommy says you earned the 1k subs. Keep up the great work, and I will. That is my promise to you. Michael says congrats. Ross says well done Tom. Hard work pays off, and indeed I feel it did. I've done everything I possibly could to provide entertainment, to provide information, to provide a chat where everyone enjoys themselves, everyone has fun. To have 1,000 people decide that this is right, that this is what they want, is tremendous. That's not even counting the people who are following on Twitch. All of you as well have committed to this as we get closer to 500 on Twitch. Thank you so much. We're already monetized on Twitch. Next step, here we go. Sean says congrats on monetization Tom, you deserve it. Thank you kindly. Everything Network says you're about to enjoy the good life now, buddy. Oh yeah. Andrew Quinn says monetized by Mania. Congratulations Tom. Not only you get 1k subs, but our club won the League Cup. Double. Congrats. Double indeed, Andrew. What a day. Christoph says congrats mate. KJ says congrats. Kings Andy says 1k. Thank you very much everyone. Simon says is Becky taking time off after Mania? Would miss her if she did. I've heard nothing about that personally. BFG says can we watch you get monetized live doing the application? I mean, maybe. I mean, if you're interested in that, it's a possibility, but I would have to put in my bank details, so to be blunt, no. James Stewart says, what's the next target? 1,500? Yeah, absolutely. Straight on to the next target. We go again. We'll do a celebration stream, I'll tell you that. Astrid says, just the beginning. Thank you, Astrid. It's the dream, as it were. Wiggly says we can celebrate with Man City winning the Champions League. Well, if that happened, we would never be celebrating because that's never going to happen. Sai T says, well earned. Thank you, Sai. Appreciate that. Wiggly says, to celebrate, you need a party popper and a whistle. Seeing as you're monetized, I guess the drinks are on you. I'm not monetized yet, guys. Not monetized yet. And to be fair, if tomorrow I go down to 997 again, I'm still not monetized. So I'll put in the application and we'll see how it goes from there. But it may take a little time. Once it is, we will have ourselves a party. Ghost says, did I miss the monetization? Damn. Sadly, no. Well, for that, you missed the 1k, but the 1k is still going. So that works out. That works. But we'll have a proper celebration at some point. Steve says, hard work pays off. It's been so fun to follow your journey. This is just the start. Big things on the way for you, my friend. Thank you, Steve, and for you, sir. As I said, upon monetization, I'll be giving back. I'll absolutely be giving back. Larry says, now you've reached 1,000, you'll be painting your walls gold, donating to political parties for a peerage, and not talking to us ordinary scum anymore. So British. So British. And Wiggly says, okay, just to avoid being stupid, what does it mean by being monetized? YouTube give you a salary or something? Essentially, yeah. So YouTube give ad revenue based on my videos. It also gives income based on watch time. So, for example, these live videos not likely to contain many commercials because they're live. So because there aren't going to be many ads, I'm not going to be earning particularly from these. But when people watch those videos back, there will be some ads in them. I will be earning money. Essentially, I earn money by you watching rather than I earn money out of your pocket. That's what I'm looking for from YouTube. That's what I'm looking for. It also means that because YouTube can earn money from me, YouTube will now commit to advertising my work a lot more, which guarantees much faster growth. I'm already growing pretty quickly. So things should go a little bit boom from here. Which means also that if I'm making money, I will then start looking at what I'm referring to as Team Colohue. I want to start making some of you guys money too. Whether by promoting your YouTube channels and helping you guys grow, or by trying to create a little business, a little company that some of you may like to jump in on. More details as it develops, but first we get monetized. Tommy B says, you're the best wrestling YouTube channel, better than the others. Thank you, Tommy, I appreciate that. Weaver says, you needed 1,000 subs for that or a certain amount of time? Both. You need 4,000 watch heads on this. Says, yes, a channel needs 4 things on YouTube. 1 is verifying your account, 2nd is not having any channel strikes, and then 4,000 hours of watch time in 1 year, and then 1,000 subs. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. And we did it. As Tommy says, getting 1,000 subs is hard, no doubt. Absolutely. There have been times when I thought it's impossible. And yet here we are. Wiggly says, maybe I ought to launch a channel, I just don't know what I would promote. It's hard work. If you don't know what you're going to do with it, I wouldn't suggest it. Tommy says, Team Colohue, best wrestling YouTube channel on the planet. Now that's a shirt. Bless you, Tommy. I appreciate that. I'm going to wrap it up there, guys, because we were out of questions. We've gone over by 20 minutes because, well, it got good. It got good. And first and foremost, huge thank you. We reached 1,000 on YouTube. We reached 1,000 on YouTube. From here, things do go boom. Absolutely just go boom. So, we'll have another show tomorrow. I'll begin the application process. I will announce a proper party, as it were, a celebration, when the moment actually comes. And in the meantime, I'll be in the Discord just after this. If you guys have any more questions about the YouTube thing. I've been Tom Colohue. You've genuinely been fantastic. And I'll see you all very soon.